Hello YouTube, I'm Zach, you're watching ZakDTV, the place for interesting news from around the net. In today's episode, we're going to talk about an electric-powered space tugboat, then we have laser weapons on drones, and we're going to wrap this whole thing up with a government program to give bionic arms to amputees. And remember, if you want more stories like this Monday through Friday, go ahead and click that subscribe button over here so you know when I upload something new. Alright, let's get right into this. A team of researchers from Polytech, University of Turin, and Thales Alenia, that's an aerospace company that makes modules for the space station, recently published a paper describing how they want to produce an electric-powered space tugboat to take trips to the moon and back. According to Martina Mammarella, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but here we go. She's a researcher working on this project, that by analyzing the mission scenario and all the elements involved in it, we came out with the idea to study in deep space the concept of a sustainable transportation system equipped with electric propulsion. What they'd like to do is use Hall effect thrusters to power their ship. These are electrically based thrusters, and they are a perfected concept. We have them out in space right now. The only problem with these is they take a long time to accelerate because they don't produce a lot of power. But when you're working in a vacuum, you don't need a lot of power to get something moving. And that's why they're looking into this like a space tugboat. Because there would be no humans on board, it'd be completely autonomous, and it'd just be ferrying cargo back and forth. It could take as long as needed to get there. This would be a huge savings over current chemical rockets because they are just so expensive to build and fuel to get out of the Earth's atmosphere. Once you have this thing in space, it's up there. They also plan to use NASA's proposed spaceport to do maintenance on the moon end, and they could do maintenance here at the ISS, if it's still around. There'll be something up there floating around that they could do maintenance on, though. I have to think, with our aspirations of building a moon base and everything coming up here, this seems like a great way to get materials from the Earth to the moon in a slow but steady fashion. I really hope this project can take off. Sorry, I had to. I love the way military can spend money on tech. Next up, I want to tell you about a program where they want to use drones with lasers to shoot down icbms. The other day, our government put out a solicitation form for a high-altitude, long-endurance unmanned aircraft, or HALE for short. The Missile Defense Agency is looking for this by 2023. And it states a HALE aircraft carrier with a greater payload capacity is needed to carry a high-energy laser system payload to high altitudes to mature boost phase intercept. What they want is a drone that can fly at 63,000 feet, can fly in place for better than 36 hours at a time, and cruise at less than half of Mach speed. So basically, they just wanted to hover around up there in slow circles, watching for ICBMs. Basically, they want to be able to do the boost phase intercept on ICBMs being launched against our country. This is in that first stage of flight, when they're first getting off the ground. They're moving at their slowest. And like they said over on the drive, this is the holy grail of missile defense. Because being able to shower your enemies with the remnants of their own ballistic missiles is a strong strategic deterrent. I'd say so. If you blow their missiles up before they're a couple feet off the ground, you've got it covered. They suggest that such a system would be used to shoot down Kim Jong-un's missiles before they can gather any flight data. But to me, I just think the idea of drones flying around with powerful lasers on them to shoot down enemy missiles is just what we expect from the future. Well, for something a little more heartwarming here, the UK's National Health Service is running a test program to give children bionic arms. This is a 6-month clinical trial, and they're going to equip 10 child amputees with bionic arms free of charge. And if all goes well, they might use bionic arms to replace the standard cheap hook arms that are out there. They're working with a group called Open Bionics, who have come up with a way to 3D map an amputee and 3D print bionic limbs to fit that person. And they do some cool ones for the kids too. They have like Frozen and Avengers, and they even did this really cool one based on Metal Gear. Now all their arms do have the sensors and stuff, so you can open and close your fingers, that kind of whatnot. And some of these kids ones even have little LEDs and stuff integrated into them, so the kid can feel like, hey, I've got a really cool hand here. And because they 3D print these, they got the cost down from like 65 grand for one of these electronic bionic limbs to only around $6, which makes it a lot more feasible for a government-run healthcare department to afford to give these to more people. And there you have it. We had a chance to talk about the government doing something great for its people for once. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. That was my Friday show, so I'm going to call it a weekend. I want to thank you guys for stopping in. Remember, I do this Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. I'll be back on Monday. I'll see you then. Be safe.